and gentlemen, on behalf of General Charles A. Flynn, Commanding General, United States Army Pacific, welcome to Fort Shafter and historic Palm Circle. We'd like to extend a sincere welcome to our distinguished guests. Mr. Gil Tam, civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, senior leaders from the Hawaii National Guard, Fleet Master Chief David Isom, senior enlisted advisor, U.S. Indo-PACOM. From our partner nation, Sergeant Major Sanji Singh from the Singapore Army, and Miss Jacqueline Nan Ai Leng. Colonel and Mrs. David Brostrom, Gold Star family. Special family and friends of Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Scott Brzak, and special family and friends of Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Jason Schmidt, who could not be here today. Also, fellow general officers and soldiers, welcome. Today, we have the distinct pleasure to welcome Command Sergeant Major Jason Schmidt to the USARPAC family. We also have the honor of bidding a fond farewell to the U.S. Army Pacific Command Sergeant Major Scott Brzak. Please join me in a round of applause. Music for today's ceremony is provided by the 25th Infantry Division Band under the direction of First Sergeant Aaron Johnson. The salute battery is provided by 25th DeVarty, led by Sergeant First Class Ricky Mansike. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the rendering of honors. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to your right. A lei is being presented to Command Sergeant Major Brzak's spouse, Regina Brzak, on behalf of the soldiers, professional civilians, and families of USARPAC as a token of our appreciation for her support to our One Team Ohana. And now, please direct your attention to the national colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation, the playing of the national anthem, and the Hawaii State Song. Our invocation today, given by the USARPAC chaplain, Colonel Gary Fisher.
I invite you to pray with me. Our precious Heavenly Father, thank you for all the family and friends who've joined us today to recognize outstanding leadership. We give thanks for the gift of Command Sergeant Major Scott Brzak's leadership for this, the Theater Army. Competence has been his watchword. His hallmark has been the accomplishment of the mission and the welfare of his soldiers. He has earned the respect and confidence of all. We are grateful for him as our leader, for his professionalism and his unwavering commitment to the soldier. Thank you for his spouse, Regina. Her commitment, concern, and caring for our One Team Ohana. Continue to bless him and his family as they move to new opportunities and an exciting future. We ask that you grant Command Sergeant Major Scott Schmidt the gifts of wisdom, courage, and strength. We ask your blessing upon Command Sergeant Major Schmidt and Kelly as they guide and mentor USARPAC. We pray that you will give us all the strength to press through adversity and complete the mission that you've laid before us. And we ask this in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The change of responsibility is a simple yet traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The key to the ceremony is the passing of the colors. The very soul of a military unit is symbolized in the colors under which it fights, for they represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers. The custodian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major, who is the senior enlisted soldier in the unit and principal advisor to the commander. The outgoing Command Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major Brzak, will pass the colors to the commander. The passing of the colors symbolizes Sergeant Major Brzak's relinquishment of duties as the United States Army Pacific Command Sergeant Major. The commander will then pass the colors to the Command Sergeant Major Schmidt, charging him with fulfilling the duties that come with his position as the new United States Army Pacific Command Sergeant Major. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General, United States Army Pacific, General Charles A. Flynn.
Aloha. Nikomo mai, everyone. The trades are blowing. I want to thank a few people, first of all. Let me thank the 25th Band for being here. Let me thank the 25th Divardi. Thank Protocol for setting this up. And I also want to pay special attention to the color guard out here, because in trade winds, and particularly the Army colors with those streamers on them, those are not easy to hold on to. So how about a round of applause for these great soldiers, all these places. Well done. Everybody just bear with me, get through this, okay? So, because you know I am a passionate guy about what we're doing, and I have a great deal of respect for Sergeant Major Brzak. Today is a great day. Today's bittersweet day. Today I'm flush with memories. Today is a day to reflect. And I'm going to come in and out of my speech a little bit. In 2013, I was in an aircraft with Command Sergeant Major Brzak. I was a one-star general. It was a very cold day. It was Rhine-Luzon, and we jumped. And that was my last jump in the 82nd as the DCG. A short 15 months later, I had a phone call with him. And then right after that, I selected him as the Command Sergeant Major of 25th Infantry Division and U.S. Army Hawaii. And upon reflection, I have made a ton of decisions as a Major General, a Lieutenant General, and now a General in the last decade. But that one decision 10 years ago set in motion a man that I have the deepest amount of respect for. And I just want to thank everyone for being here today to share this special occasion. Scott, Brzak, you and Regina, welcome. Command Sergeant Major Jason Schmidt and your wife Carrie, who's not here, welcome to you. But before I speak more deeply about those two amazing leaders, I'm going to speak about the importance of the Command Sergeants Major in a theater army. The U.S. Army Pacific Command Sergeants Major's job is actually vital to what we do, and Scott Brzak was the right person at the right time for the utmost importance of this job. Our mission across United States Army Pacific demands strong leaders and leadership from our senior non-commissioned officers. And I would argue that no other theater army demands it more because of the complexity and the differences of what they're confronted with every day. To prevent war, we actually have to deploy combat-credible forces forward on operations like Pathways. And our forces, often deployed in echelons, but in a range of some in large formations, others in teams and squads, operating in small elements. These elements, they have to deploy trained, and they have to understand their commander's intent, and they have to remain disciplined in the face of adversity. They have to interact appropriately with other services, other countries, allies and partners, civilian populations and leaders, and most importantly, they have to accomplish their mission, and they do it with limited oversight. When soldiers operate throughout the vastness of this part of the world, they are my representatives. And Sergeant Major Brzak has been a world-class representative of this command in the U.S. Army. And the soldiers that he leads and we lead, they are actually the face of the United States Army, moreover, the face of the United States. And Command Sergeant Major Brzak knows my intent. He actually finishes sentences before I can. And he has continually applied his leadership, ensuring that our formations are well trained and that they represent this command, our Army, and our nation with the utmost of respect. Because of his professionalism and that of our non-commissioned officer corps, they are a key part of what actually makes our combat formations credible. Our NCO Corps is the competitive advantage that we retain over our pacing threat. It is unmatched in this region, and it is the envy of our enemies who know it. And here is the challenge. We can never lose that, ever. And Command Sergeant Major Brzak and all of the non-commissioned officers are charged with that very high responsibility. And he has done it incredibly well. Sergeant Major Brzak, you are the epitome of the profession of arms. You are the model soldier. You never, ever let me down. You taught me a ton, and I can never adequately repay you for the lessons in life I learned. Like the Ranger Creed states, you're an example for others to follow, and I have always followed yours. You looked after soldiers. You're a trainer at heart. You enforced standards. You demanded much of yourself and of your subordinates. You've been the ultimate senior enlisted advisor to the commander, and I have benefited far more from this relationship than anyone else. When I think of you, I think of two phrases to describe Command Sergeant Major Brzak. The first phrase is loyal, true, and caring. And the second phrase is steady and unflappable, of which I'm a little flappable right now. In fact, when I think back, Sergeant Major, to that decision that I mentioned earlier a decade ago, I thought of those two phrases, and they both have far more meaning to me right now. Sergeant Major Brzak, no one's going to miss you more than me. Well, maybe Kathleen, because actually you're the best person to unscrew me from the ceiling sometimes when I get too crazy, so. But I just have so many memories with you. Your counsel, your leadership has meant the world to me. And my great blessing in command has been to have been alongside you and experienced your comradeship. But it is your friendship that I'm going to cherish most. Regina, Scott's role as a Command Sergeant Major comes with a cost for families and for you personally. But your sacrifices produced an army of soldiers touched by yours and his commitment to one another, to your family, and to the Army community. Thank you, Regina, for your selfless service to our country and to USARPAC. As a former soldier yourself, you and Scott have been together through adventures and challenges, good times and hardships. I'm grateful to you for all you've done, because none of this is easy. We needed your husband, and we needed you. You've befriended and mentored countless other spouses, and like Scott, you too have been a role model, a soldier, a mother, a working mom, a wife, community leader, a volunteer, and a friend. You've supported Scott in his challenging work. And you've been the dearest of friends to both Kathleen and myself for many years. And for that, we're indebted to you. Regina, to you and Mackenzie, who is not here today, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We wish you and Scott all the best as you transition into your new life and a new journey in South Carolina and more time together. We are grateful for your years of service and your friendship, It is a gift we have for life. Sergeant Major, you've been far more than a command sergeant major here. You have been a trusted confidant, and you've been my friend. And while today is not your retirement, I'm going to miss you. To you and Regina from Palm Circle, Ohana, we're going to miss you so much. Please know that you will always have a home, an Ohana, and a group of friends here in Hawaii. A round of applause for the Brzaks. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt, welcome and aloha. Comes from a military family. His grandfather served as a rifle platoon sergeant in World War II in the Pacific Theater. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt's father served 21 years in the Air Force, to include service in Vietnam. Fortunately for Command Sergeant Major Schmidt and his younger brother, who is later a staff sergeant in the Army, they followed their grandfather's footsteps and enlisted in the Army. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt comes to us after being the Commandant of the Non-Commissioned Officer Leadership Center of Excellence at Fort Bliss, Texas, is essentially where our Command Sergeant Major's Academy is. In that role, he was responsible for delivering all levels of non-commissioned officer professional military education to our non-commissioned officer corps. No stranger to the Pacific, Command Sergeant Major served as a first sergeant in Alaska. He also served as the Command Sergeant Major for Installation Management Command Pacific right here at Fort Shafter, and he was the Command Sergeant Major of 8th Army in Korea. He has had all the challenging jobs, and he brings a great breadth of understanding to our formations, this command, this theater, our community, and our soldiers. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt, we need your experience, and we need your energy in this role right now. I know that we'll receive nothing less. So welcome to you and your family to the Theater Army of the Pacific. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt, Command Sergeant Major Brzak leaves a tremendous legacy, and I know you know this because we have talked about it, and a highly professional NCO Corps. Together, this command has come a long way, but there is a great deal of work left in front of us, and we have, as I say often, miles to march before we rest. Never forget that our mission and our responsibility is to prevent war, and you do that with strength. There is far too much at stake for us to not be putting all of our efforts to ensuring that we do all we can to accomplish that goal. Command Sergeant Major Schmidt, I'm confident you are up to the task, and thank you for taking it on. A round of applause for Command Sergeant Major Schmidt. In closing, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the Non-Commissioned Officer Corps of the United States Army. Again, an asymmetrical advantage that we have in the United States military. And we should never cede that advantage. And that takes hard work, that takes dedication, that takes an officer corps, a non-commissioned officer corps, a warrant officer corps, and an enlisted force to maintain. And it is ours to lose. Let me say that again. It is ours to lose. And we can never afford to lose that. Thank you for tirelessly working to protect our nation, our citizens, our principles, and our way of life. In fact, those battle streamers that I was talking about earlier on the Army colors, much of the blood on those streamers is from our enlisted force led by the Non-Commissioned Officer Corps. So when you think about the sacrifices of this country, they are in fact in the Non-Commissioned Officer Corps. Therefore, the respect of the Officer Corps is paramount to our non-commissioned officers, and in return, they the same. I am proud to be part of this team. You should all be very proud of what you and your families represent. I hope you all have a nice, safe weekend. Enjoy some time off. May God bless our soldiers. God bless our Army. May God watch over and keep our nation safe. A hui ho, one team.
Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing USARPAC Command Sergeant Major Scott Brzak.
Well, sir, I appreciate those remarks. Very humbling, and again, your leadership and your friendship, I cannot say enough about that. And again, like I said over at the awards presentation, I've been very fortunate to have had the opportunity to serve with you multiple times. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and today is one of those times. But I'm going to go against some of the guidance you put out during the Commanders Conference of live in the future, operate in the present. I'm going to actually reflect on the past about these last 4 years and then our time in the last decade together. So thank you. Just like General Flynn recognized the 25th Band, the Salute Battery, the Color Guard, Protocol, and all the other individuals that had a part in putting this all together. I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of coordination, but again, this is a very well done ceremony, professionally ran, and I appreciate everybody's effort to making sure that this is a professional event to welcome Sergeant Major Schmidt and to represent USARPAC. So, distinguished guests, leaders, family, friends, those who aren't here in person but are dialing in, I thank you for taking time out to be here. It means a lot to myself and Gina that you've set aside some time to be here with us. I'm just going to start off with being, wow, how fortunate am I? I don't want anybody to feel bad for me that today's my last day, because I have been very fortunate for the past 4 years. And I don't take that lightly, of the opportunity that I have been gifted to be out here as a USARPAC Sergeant Major. So as I stand here on historic Palm Circle for the final time, I'm filled with mixed emotions as I bid a farewell to my role as a Command Sergeant Major of the United States Army of the Pacific. For the past 4 years, it has been in my distinct honor and privilege to serve in this position, working alongside the finest men and women in uniform, as well as our dedicated partners and allies, civilians, and the Joint Forces. First, I want to thank my entire family in Michigan, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania for their love and continued support over the past 4 years. To my daughter Mackenzie, who could not be here unfortunately, I look forward to spending time with you upon my return home. Love you. Gina, through the long hours, the numerous multi-week trips throughout the region and around the globe, along with the high demands of this position, you have been my rock and made it all possible. Thank you, and I love you very much. I'd like to also thank General LaCama for selecting me to be the USARPAC Command Sergeant Major back in 2020 and bringing me back to this great state of Hawaii. I cannot thank him enough. General Flynn and Kathleen, thank you for your friendship over the past 3 years and making this experience very memorable. General Flynn, thank you for your leadership and your continued support of the NCO Corps. Your time here has been transformational for the Theater Army of the Pacific. With your strategic vision, energy, and deep understanding of the Indo-Pacific Theater, you have greatly increased the awareness of just how crucial land forces are to the security of this area of operations. During my tenure, I have witnessed firsthand the unwavering commitment, dedication, and professionalism of our leaders and our soldiers. Together we have faced challenges head-on, overcome obstacles, and achieved remarkable successes in advancing our mission of promoting peace, stability, and security in the Indo-Pacific region. I am immensely proud of the strong partnerships and alliances we have forged with our allies and partners. Through collaboration, cooperation, and mutual respect, we have strengthened our collective defense capabilities, enhanced interoperability, and fostered greater trust and understanding among nations. Together, we have demonstrated the power of unity and solidarity in the face of shared threats and challenges. I'm also deeply grateful for the invaluable contributions of our civilian workforce, whose dedication, expertise, and support have been instrumental in our mission success. Your tireless efforts behind the scenes have not gone unnoticed, and I am truly grateful for your commitment to serving our country and our mission. I want to express my deepest gratitude to everyone who is part of USARPAC for your support, friendship, and dedication. It has been a privilege to serve alongside you, and I am confident that the legacy of excellence we have all built together will endure long after my departure. About 3 weeks ago, Sergeant Major Jason Schmidt and I began our transition. Over those 3 weeks, I have gotten to know Sergeant Major Schmidt better. And without a doubt, General Flynn, you selected the right individual to be the next USARPAC Command Sergeant Major. Jason, you and your wife Kelly, and your daughters, congratulations, and enjoy this incredible opportunity to serve in this historic organization and this one team Ohana. Regina and I will be retiring back in South Carolina, and while this is the end of one chapter, it is the start of another. Regina, I am very much looking forward to writing that next chapter with you and look forward to our next adventures together. And I really want to thank you for everything you've done over the past 7 months. You helped pack out a house here in Hawaii. You moved back to South Carolina. You helped our daughter move back to South Carolina. You set our house up. You started a second job, all being able to take care of me, being that far apart. And I appreciate everything you have done, and I love you more than I can say. In closing, remember that our strength lies in our unity, our diversity, and our shared commitment to ensuring we have ready and trained soldiers who are ready to answer our nation's call. Thank you all for the memories and the honor of serving as a USARPAC Command Sergeant Major. One team.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the USARPAC Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Jason Schmidt.
Well, aloha and ikamomai, and thanks for attending today's ceremony. It is great to be back and see so many of the familiar faces and great teammates back out in the Pacific Theater. Sir General Flynn, thank you for the trust and confidence in selecting me for this position. It's not lost on me the tremendous responsibility that you entrusted the USARPAC Command Sergeant Major to maneuver on your behalf. I guarantee you, and I promise to give you a return on your investment in me. Sergeant Major Brzak, Scott, thank you and Regina for the first-class sponsorship and the way you received me to Team Ohana out here at the One Team. Your tremendous efforts across the region over the past 3+ years have built an enormous amount of interoperability both professionally and tactically within the region. You have left an indelible impression, and I know that I have some big shoes to fill. Congratulations on a stellar career, and thanks for all you have done for our nation and our Army. You alone can rest easy and retire in the knowledge that you truly left it all on the field. To my wife Kelly and my daughters Kenley and Kenna, thank you for embracing the unique lifestyle of the military family and having another adventure with me. Like all great military families, you're doing the bulk of the hard work by shutting down Patrol Base Schmidt in El Paso while I am forward. I love all three of you, and I wouldn't do any of this without you by my side. Following in the footsteps of giants is never easy, but luckily for me, I have been mentored by three great former USARPAC Command Sergeants Majors, Command Sergeant Majors Brian Lambert, Command Sergeant Majors Ben Jones, and the almighty Scott Brzak right there. I look forward to continuing their work across the region and live up to the high bar that they have set. As you heard General Flynn say, my family has a long legacy of service to the Pacific. My grandfather was a rifle platoon sergeant in World War II and spent 4 years island hopping. My father did serve in Southeast Asia, and I have spent a considerable amount of time in the Pacific myself. So in short, USARPAC is my dream assignment, and there is no other command in which I would rather invest my energy than this nation's priority theater. I look forward to cultivating existing relationships and also building new ones across the region. One team.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army Song and remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony.